Good evening, Chairman Antrim, Vice Chairman Canty, and Secretary Thibault. Through you and to the residents of Nahant, thank you for your support and for tuning in to tonight's State of the Town address. I want to start, as I always do, by thanking current and former elected officials, employees, and volunteers for their contribution and commitment to our community's success. Our town is extremely blessed to have so many talented people contributing to the successful accomplishment of our goals. Our elected officials and appointed volunteers on the many committees and boards who do not get paid for their time or might get $1, dedicate countless hours of their own time to work on so many important issues before our town. The work they do is hard to quantify. However, it is impossible for our town to be where it is today without their dedication. I want to thank you all, and please know that you have played an integral role in the accomplishments that I'm about to mention. To the employees of Nahant, thank you for your daily commitment to serving the residents of this community. Through difficult times, you step forward and oftentimes work extra hours away from your families for the benefit of our town. We collectively are committed to providing services that treat our residents with respect, honesty, and responsiveness. I thank you for conducting yourselves with those three values in mind. It is because of your efforts and your input that we have accomplished so many great things over the past 6.5 years. To the residents of Nahant, I want you to know that those are our priorities as employees. We work very hard to do what's best and what's right for this community. It's important to us that you feel welcomed, that you feel heard, and that you know we care about Nahant just like you. Our community faces many challenges, and our job is to navigate those challenges in a way that balances our needs, our wants, and the character of our town. Fortunately, our financial ability to accomplish everything we desire is limited, and we know that many residents face the same challenge in their daily life. That is why we put a tremendous amount of effort of living within our means. Our primary financial goal is to find ways to improve our services without adding additional costs to our residents. Through that effort, we have been able to keep our residential tax rate stable. And in fiscal year 24, we had the fourth lowest residential tax rate in Essex County at $9.07. By prioritizing certain financial policies, we have solidified the town's bond rating and at the highest possible position for a town our size. This allows us to secure lower interest rates for borrowing needs in the future, which will save hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. We have steadily increased our stabilization account by 1,051% from about $93,000 in 2018 to about 1.1 million today, surpassing the DOR minimum standard of 5% of our total budget, and for the first time in town history, surpassing the $1 million mark. Similarly, we have invested in our post-employment benefits fund, increasing it by 5,021% from only $3,000 in 2018 to over $153,000 today. Additionally, each year we have paid down debt above and beyond our minimum required payments in order to reduce our principal balances as quickly as possible. In fiscal year 25, we allocated $200,000 above what was required to fund our debt. Most importantly, these efforts, along with one-time capital projects, have been funded appropriately with free cash dollars, just as the Department of Revenue recommended in 2015. Since 2018, through the efforts of our elected officials, volunteers, and employees, past and present, we have secured $8.3 million in federal, state, and local grants to fund programs and projects throughout Nahant. This includes over $135,000 in coastal resilience grants, $427,000 in green community grants, and $837,000 in public safety grants. And I'm happy to announce that we have been notified this week that the town has been awarded a $3.5 million matching grant through FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. This grant will be used for the design and construction of increased coastal protection to Short Beach, our most vulnerable coastal property. The town has been working on this grant for years, and with this award, it is the largest single grant in town history by millions of dollars. Including this great achievement, the total grants received since 2018 increases to $11.8 million. 2 years ago, we completed the largest sewer infrastructure project in recent history with the $8.8 million sewer main rebuild under the Linway. In the past year, we have made significant progress and are nearing completion on 2 additional sewer infrastructure projects valued at about $7 million combined. Those projects feature Priority 1 gravity sewer system repairs and a complete rebuild of our main wastewater pump station on Ward Road. Due to the support of the Board of Selectmen, the Advisory and Finance Committee, and our residents, all of these projects are funded through the State Revolving Fund, which provides us long-term borrowing at below market interest rates. In 2024, after years of discussion, advocating, studying, and designing, we completed the most significant stormwater improvement project in recent town history. Town invested over $800,000 towards this effort, and the Lowlands neighborhood is finally handling stormwater drainage appropriately. Another major milestone achieved in 2024 is paying down $1.8 million in debt related to Coast Guard housing. After completing most of the demolition and preparation work in 2023, 2 more properties were cleared in 2024. The town completed its first offering of 6 vacant properties, sold 5 of them, and brought in about $2.4 million in revenue. After paying down the $1.8 million in debt from purchasing the property, the town has begun paying off the $1.3 million in debt used to prepare the properties for sale. We have about $600,000 more in debt to pay off, and our goal is to do so before the end of this fiscal year. The second offering of 6 more vacant properties is now live, with bids scheduled for late February and early March. This project has been almost 20 years in the making, and so many people have played significant roles in the process. It's hard to mention how many people have been involved in the Coast Guard housing project alone, from the multiple committees, public meetings, advisory and finance, Board of Selectmen, town meetings, engineers, employees, volunteers. It's been that project alone is, and the fact that we paid off the $1.8 million is something that we should really be proud of. And nearby at Fort Ruckman and Bailey's Hill, with the support of the Community Preservation Committee, the Open Space and Recreation Planning Committee, the Nahant Fire Department, the Department of Public Works, we have rehabilitated this public space in a way that has completely transformed the way it impacts the neighborhoods. 2 of my favorite events in the past year featured the unveiling of the town's first beach wheelchair, improving access to town beaches for those with mobility and limitations, and the dedication of the PFC James J. Devereaux Jr. Memorial Square on Veterans Day. And one of my proudest moments in 2024 was seeing the American Legion and the Nahant Fire Department come together with the Board of Selectmen to create the Benson Fund and the Get Alarmed program. So far, due to generous donations and match funding from the town, this program is funded at no cost to residents. 15 home safety inspections, 62 smoke detectors installed, 31 carbon monoxide detectors installed, and we have 17 additional houses in the pipeline. All of these things and many more that I did not mention happened because of collaboration. They happened because we came together as a community and moved in the same direction as a team. Over the next year, we have to continue those efforts. Looking at the upcoming fiscal year budget, we face significant financial challenges to develop a balanced budget. It is clear, like many of us experience in our personal lives, costs are rising at an alarming pace. Simply put, our primary source of revenue, residential real estate taxes, is restricted by Proposition 2.5. We have to do our due diligence to find ways to reduce expenses and increase our revenues. We have to continue to be aggressive, seeking grants that will help us accomplish those goals. In the upcoming year, we have multiple planning projects that are funded and need to be completed. Some of those include a public safety building study, the Flash Road Recreational Master Plan, and most importantly, due to compliance being required by the end of 2025, the MBTA 3A multifamily zoning issue. We've been looking to take on additional significant capital improvement projects, such as the Willow Road wastewater force main and stormwater improvements to White Way, Willow Road, and Bass Point Road. And we're hoping to complete the permitting process for 40 Steps Coastal Bank and Beach Renourishment Project as well. We have started discussing with the planning board a timeline to embark on a town master plan that is desperately in need of an update, and we hope to seek funding for that process later this year. In my opinion, MBTA 3A multifamily zoning is going to be one of the most important and time-consuming efforts this year, with an anticipated special town meeting in late fall to vote on including this requirement into our local zoning. Residents have to get involved in this discussion early and throughout the process because we have seen results in other communities. The grant funding that we heavily rely on to accomplish tasks without burdening our residents could be at risk if we do not attempt to comply. And further, the efforts the Attorney General has made to force compliance in communities like Milton that have not complied are concerning. We don't know yet what a possible compliance solution could look like, but we have to start having those conversations. Ultimately, it will be the decision of the voters. However, it is our responsibility to put forward a process of inclusion and discussion that presents a choice for residents to consider. The planning board will play an integral role in this effort, and with the support of the Board of Selectmen and I, we urge the process. We urge for progress on this issue. These are aggressive goals for the upcoming year, but recent accomplishments are proof that we can accomplish it together. And I again want to thank you all for helping to make Nahant the greatest it can be. I look forward to our continued progress.
That's great. Summary.
Somewhat.
Very, very pleased with all the progress. You know, as you were speaking, I was thinking back to, you know, when I came on board in 2019, you had only been in this role for 8 months, and as you said, the stability account had whatever it was, $95,000, and OPEB was barely funded at all, and you know, it's been a pleasure for me personally, you know, seeing you grow in the role and really being the driving force behind all those accomplishments.
Good shape.
And buried in that speech was something that nobody really knows about. Would you mind going back and reading about the recent short beach grant?
So we've been working on a hazard mitigation grant through FEMA to design and construct improvements to the Short Beach Dune, to bring the elevation of the Short Beach Dune to a 100-year storm level, to redesign the entry points so that they don't act currently as they do as break points for storm surge that flood Nahant Road. I mentioned it as our most vulnerable coastal property because it protects our number one resource of our only way in and out of town. And that was one of our biggest points in this mitigation grant was when that road gets flooded, we don't have a way to respond to emergency calls in Little Nahant. We don't have a way to get people out of town if they need to get to a hospital. We can't get them out of Nahant to the mainland. We can't get resources in. And that's why it's so vital for that area to be protected. We've been working on this grant for, it seems like years. It is years. And we were notified this week that we are one of two. The other award is in Chicago. One of two in the country being funded under this grant, under this award phase for, it's a little over $3.5 million in matching money. That's at a 78% match. However, they've told us that once we get into the project, that 78% can climb to 90%. So that amount can actually even grow closer to $4 million. And like I said, it's the biggest grant I think we've ever gotten. I think it's by a lot.
That's federally funded.
Federally funded. And by going through this project, once completed, Short Beach will actually be eligible for public assistance money in the future from FEMA when you have damage that occurs from a natural disaster. Whereas now we've run into issues with trying to get that funding from FEMA to help rebuild, damage that occurs to the dune because according to FEMA, it needs to meet certain standards in order to be eligible.
Who wrote the grant request?
It was a joint effort. It goes between myself, Vicky Masson, Trey Ruthven, who's our coastal engineer, and it even goes back to our MVP committee, the folks that were on the MVP committee. Yeah, it's years.
We need to thank those people.
Yeah,
This is a huge deal. Obviously, in addition to protecting Nahant Road and the causeway between Little Nahant and Nahant, it protects Spring Road, Fox Hill Road, Ward Road, Castle Road to some extent, so whole neighborhoods, so.
Yeah. Cut off from all of our public services, if that floods, then we can't get fire trucks or we can drive them in.
The blizzard of '78 demonstrated all that.
even the storms we had in 2018.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
we're
Yep.
all the way around.
It's excellent demonstration of, what we've seen on a lot of these things is just perseverance, just staying after it. I mean, the Coast Guard housing was another one. It's like, wasn't easy, a lot of bumps in the road, but just keep pushing forward and.
Maybe we could get a raise.
Yeah.
I, it's, for a sports metaphor, we are a small market team. We don't have the resources that many other communities have. We don't have the staff. We don't have a full-time planning department or full-time engineer. We don't have those things. But we are, performing well above our means, and that's hugely due to the amount of volunteers that dedicate their time, the employees that work extra hard. Like it is, I hope it came out clear in my state of the town that it is a team effort. It's where, we would not be able to accomplish the things that we've set out to accomplish in the time frame that we've been able to accomplish them. Wouldn't be possible without all those people working together, getting those grants to help offset our own, financial limitations. Like that's the name of the game for us and going forward. So it really is, I appreciate the kind words, but it's not just me. It's all of us. It's completely all of us. So. And we have challenges. We have challenges in front of us. We have, looking at the budget going into this year, like I said, we have significant costs, so we have to figure out how we're going to balance that budget and find ways to get it funded. I do think looking into the future beyond that with the Coast Guard housing development and that new growth and new tax revenue coming in will help us. But the costs of things just keep going up and the revenue is capped. So we have to keep finding ways to balance that out. Well, and not lost on me and on you either, I know, is, doing that in a way that maintains the character of our town, doing that in a way that allows people who are, we have a lot of retirees in this community that are on fixed budgets, so you don't want to just go to the override solution and try and ask or increase fees and seek more money from the residents. You want to try and find ways to do it without, adding burden to them. So that's the high level challenge of all of these things.
Yeah, and the jump never ends.
Never ends.
And, but felt pretty good for a few minutes to listen to, some of the accomplishments
That was impressive. It truly was.
Thank you.